Hello guys, I'm Tony, Explore Crypto channel, and in this video we will be speaking about Omni Layer. So most of you probably know Omni Layer because of its main asset Tether, which is like the biggest stablecoin cryptocurrency. But obviously it's like the asset that is anchored into Bitcoin in some way. Mostly because obviously Omni Layer. So yeah, today I'm just planning to explain a bit more about Omni Layer, what it is, how it works, how it connects to Bitcoin, all this kind of more technical things about it, a bit of history. So yeah, let's start this video. So Omni Layer as a project started in about block 250,000, which was like a fall of 2013, and originally it was called Mastercoin. So there was no Omni Layer, there was a Mastercoin. So the Mastercoin was like the main asset on the Omni Layer infrastructure. So the main reason for that was basically to create some sort of like token standard on top of Bitcoin. So obviously Ethereum started 2 years later, almost 2 years later in July 2015, and there was this gap between this fall of 2013 and July 2015, where basically people couldn't do any tokens except using Bitcoin or creating like forks or things like that. So the easiest way for most of the projects was to create a token on top of Omni Layer. As Mastercoin, it had no fees, so a bit different than most of the projects, because usually when you use some kind of layer, some kind of infrastructure, you have to pay fees. On the Omni Layer, originally called Mastercoin, you didn't have to use these Mastercoins to basically send transaction. It was all Bitcoin, so all the fees were paid in Bitcoin, only to miners. You didn't have to pay any more fees on top of that, so that was only like the transaction fees paid for the transaction on the Bitcoin, and that's it. So yeah, no additional fees. And obviously Omni Layer has a blockchain explorer available. You can go there, you can look at latest blocks, you can explore transactions. The Omni Layer transactions are very simple. It's like one address is sending some kind of token property to the other address with the specified amount, and that's it. This is so simple. There are different, more complicated functions on it, like freezing the tokens, revoking property, or things like that. We won't be speaking about them today. Today, just some basics. So, as I said, Tether, which is like the biggest stablecoin on the market right now, it has a property ID number 31 on the Omni Layer. It will be important later on when we go into more details, how it works, how to decode these transactions if you want to, how to create it. But there are like two more that are pretty active. I would say they are like transacting every 100 of block or something like that. One is called MadeSafe coin, and it's about the 100th place of the coin market cap right now. Basically some kind of very old shitcoin, and other one is Idni Agoras, I think, something like that. So yeah, there are some other assets that are being transacted on the Omni Layer, but 99.9%, even like I would say 99.99999 in terms of liquidity, is only Tether. And Tether is moving out of Omni Layer. I will be speaking about that later on, but basically Tether is looking for new ways of creating their tokens on different blockchains, including them on the different blockchains, so they don't use Omni Layer as much as they did before. So yeah, they don't. I would say they don't love it anymore because they are like looking at the other projects. It's like this kind of meme. They were connected with Omni for so long, but yeah, it's this protocol is basically stagnant since a long time ago. So yeah, they don't use it anymore. So how can you do the Omni Layer transaction? Let's look at the example. So I will put the example on the screen right now, and I think it's visible. I created like very nice template of it, like the Illuminati style, because everybody thinks that Tether is the reason why Bitcoin is pumping. So I just thought, let's add these small Illuminati-like features to this infographic. So let's start. Okay, the transaction that we are speaking about is the transaction E0482, and it's basically one of the transactions in the block 600,000. If you go into block explorer, I will go there later. Basically the script pub key for the Omni Layer output, because usually when you send Omni Layer transaction, you have to send some Bitcoin, like you have to have some input of Bitcoin from your wallet, from your address, let's say, not exactly the wallet, but usually one address is transacting. So you are sending money from this one address to some kind of output, and in the other output there is like the Omni Layer information in terms of this script pub key OP return OP push bytes 20. So it sends some additional data to the Bitcoin. Basically, you can use this kind of construct to, for example, take the picture and code it into these different hexadecimal strings, and basically push it to the Bitcoin protocol, as it was with the Tankman. There was like the series of hundreds of thousands, I think thousands of transactions, thousands, yeah, I think so, with, I mean, thousands of outputs, with this kind of data encoded, which was like the picture of the Tankman, which is illegal in China. So every miner in China now has it in their history, and yeah, because it's Bitcoin, they have the Tankman picture in their hard drive. So yeah, it was like the smart way of basically telling fuck you to the Chinese government. But going back to the video, this is this payload that we can include using this OP return. This OP return script in the output will basically burn every output Bitcoin attached to it. So that's why you shouldn't attach any Bitcoin to this output. That's the pure hexadecimal data. So it starts with like 6F, 6D, 6E, 69. There is like 1F in the middle and 3D, EE, 5E, 400. Okay, so that's this hex data. I'll decode it later on, but let's start from the basics. So this is how it looks like in the Block Explorer. It's type OP return, the output, the hex, here it is, and the full script pub key, here it is, for the 0 Bitcoins of the output. For this specific output, there is obviously another output that is sending Bitcoins to some change address, so it's not being lost from original address, but later on. Okay, let's decode it. So if we take this beginning character 6F, 6D, 6E, 69, 69, yeah, good idea. So it decodes into ASCII code as Omni. So every time you see this kind of OP return in the data, like here 6F, 6D, 6E, 69, it's basically Omni Layer transaction, because nobody else marks this transaction as Omni. You have to believe that's the Omni Layer transaction. So the first step is to look at the beginning characters it's the protocol name Omni Layer. There are other protocol names that uses this kind of encoding. For example, Open Timestamps, if I'm not mistaken, they have like some sort of original beginning. A lot of these timestamping protocols that use some kind of OP return to basically encode the hash of some kind of information in this form. They basically name the protocol at the beginning and includes the hash after it. So yeah, they are using that. So if you see 6E, F, 6D, 6E, 69, that's Omni Layer. Let's go to the middle of it, 1F. 1F translates to 31, and it basically ID of the token of Tether on the Omni Layer protocol, because as I said, like the ID 0 or 1 is for the master coin, for the Omni token. Nobody uses it anymore, so it's not being transacted, but the Tether is very popular, a lot of transactions. At the peak, I would even say it was like 5 to 10% of all the transactions. Right now it's about 1 to 2% because Tether is moving out of this platform, but still we have a lot of historical transactions. So yeah, 1F translates to 31 in decimal, which is like the ID of Tether. Here we have it, asset 31 Tether. Now let's decode this 3D EE D5 E400. We have it here. It translates to 2660 and 8 zeros, which is basically amount. Taking the decimals out of the Tether decimals, it has 8 decimals. So the value is 2660 without the 6. I made a mistake, sorry for that. And yeah, that's the amount. So basically, if you look at this transaction, now you can know protocol is Omni, asset is number 31, translates to Tether, amount 2660 Tethers. So 2660 US dollars in this Tether currency, I would say. So yeah, this is how it decodes. I think that's pretty basic. Okay, so how to make the Tether transaction? Basically, you can try to hack it by yourself and use bare Bitcoin Core, some kind of Bitcoin transaction. Basically, prepare this kind of schema by yourself. Experiment with that, obviously, first on the testnet. I don't know if there is Omni Layer on testnet, but you can try it on testnet and then send a transaction on the Bitcoin Core. Obviously, you don't want to do that because there are easier ways to do that. So the second way of doing that is to use Omni Core. So the Omni Core is basically like the hat on top of the Bitcoin Core. So they took the Bitcoin Core software as a Bitcoin node, all the transactions, everything, all the consensus about it. When you run Omni Core, you basically run the Bitcoin node type of software, and on top of it there is like Omni Layer protocol. So why it is like that? Basically, with this kind of protocol, it would be pretty easy to do the double spends. So you are sending like 2 transactions with the same values to the different addresses, and who knows which one is the proper one. So the Omni Core is basically doing this kind of calculation from the beginning of Omni Layer, like block around 250,000, and they are looking at all the transactions, doing this kind of tree, who owns how much, doing this kind of balance sheet, like Ethereum style, I would say, because it's not like it's not input output based, it's like one-to-one always, like the account style, not the UTXO style type of accounting when it comes to the software. So they look who owns how much, if they can spend it, it's allowed, if not, it's a double spend. There is a lot of transactions marked on the Omni layer marked as some sort of a double spend, and there was even a problem with some exchanges because instead of implementing it through Omni Core, they implemented it looking at probably what I show you guys earlier, so directly from the Bitcoin blockchain. And many people tried to double spend, and they were successful because some exchanges implemented it in the faulty manner. So, but I think it was long time ago, so I think it's patched right now, I hope so. So yeah, use the Omni Core. You can basically, it's like the client base, you have to have like a command line. Maybe there is like some kind of graphical user interface to that, I'm not sure. I only use it through like the command line, and it's the same like for the Bitcoin, so you can create transactions, you can send to address, whatever, like you can look at your balance, things like that. So the Omni Core is like the HUD on top of the Bitcoin Core, and yeah, that's more for like the programmers. And the third way is obviously use some kind of wallets, like a Trezor I think has the Omni layer support for Tether at least. Ledger for sure has it. There are some Android wallets that have this kind of support. There are like multi-currencies wallets that have this support. But yeah, it's like, it's about trust, so I don't trust anyone, and I'm not even sending Tether, so it doesn't matter anyway. It's just an example because I like this, the idea of this project at least. So yeah, the fees are only the fees on the Bitcoin, as I said. There are no additional fees in this transaction that I showed in the Blockchain Explorer. So yeah, it's like, so why this project never succeeded? It has a lot of competitors. So when Ethereum started with the ERC20 token standard, it was much easier to use. Like, it was easier to create a new asset. It was easier to basically modify it. Omni Layer has this kind of weird properties, like you can freeze the token, so it's centralized. Every time somebody creates a token on Omni Layer, they can do whatever they want with that. Like, if you create a token and airdrop it to like 10 users, you can revoke access to these 10 users after that. It's like built into the Omni protocol that you can do that. And with Tether, which is like the biggest asset on the Omni layer, Tether used this kind of mechanism at least a few times, so they freezed a lot of tokens, freezed a lot of coins on the Omni layer side, and yeah, it's possible. So that's one of the downsides, because on Ethereum, when this contract is auditable, so if somebody can look through it, audit it, and see if there is like no centralized party in that, because in many contracts you can add centralized party to like own these tokens anyway. But if this contract is auditable and decentralized, then it's like, yeah, nobody owns the contract and nobody can do anything about these tokens. So it's more like decentralized, I would say, on the Ethereum side in this manner. That's why people created like this kind of ICO tokens on top of Ethereum. Also, you can modify them, you can customize them. Not every ERC20 is the same. You can add different functions to that, methods, things like that. So yeah, it's much more customizable. Liquid is another competitor, and Tether right now is moving into both like ERC20, Ethereum, they are revoking a lot of tokens on the Omni layer and creating ones on Ethereum. They are creating some experimental tokens on Liquid network, which is like a blockstream version of confidential transactions. It's like some sort of federated mining blockchain on top of Bitcoin that you can opt in and basically switch your on-chain bitcoins into these liquid bitcoins and operate in this blockchain of Liquid. Obviously, it has some pros, it has some cons. It's confidential, but because of this is confidential, I don't like it too much because I like to snoop around. And when somebody sends a transaction on the Liquid, there is like a confidential token type, confidential amount, and I don't know anything about this transaction. So yeah, it's like not for me. So yeah, Liquid, I think it's cool anyway. It's like also like some kind of software on top of Bitcoin. Maybe I will do a video about that. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, it's another way. There is like another way of doing this kind of tokens in the sense of non-fungible tokens on Bitcoin as well. It's called, I think, counterparty. Non-fungible tokens are like for the CryptoKitties, so every token is unique. Like you can tokenize your things, you can have right shoe, left shoe, pants, t-shirts, glasses, and tokenize them if you want. Why would anyone do that? I don't know, but you can do that. Okay, maybe for the games, maybe if like Light Night, which is like Lightning Network game, Fortnite-like game on the like based with payments very heavily on Lightning Network. If they want to create this kind of assets that are tradable between players, they can use this kind of non-fungible token type of scenario, and every token is like their own. You can have like 10 marks, and every mark is a different token with its own ID and own properties. So you can customize these mugs, you can create like the cups of it or something, like whatever. I'm not good at games. So yeah, there is like another competitor in terms of like counterparty, which is non-fungible token on Bitcoin. Rootstock, another competitor. It's basically like Ethereum on Bitcoin, also with some kind of merge mining, I think, federated mining. So yeah, it's another competitor, another problem for Omni Layer. There are colored coins, so similar idea to Omni Layer a bit. There is additional data to every transaction that says that okay, you've got like the part of this colored coin, and yeah, it never catched up because it didn't have like this kind of I would say standardized software like the Omni Layer, Omnicore. Omnicore is like standardized software. You can run it on your hardware. It will always produce the same outputs for everybody. It's like some sort of a consensus rule basically, without having consensus. So yeah, it's like the easier way of interacting with that, where color coins, yeah, it's more complicated in this scenario. So I think that's it for today. So I talked about Omni Layer. What is it? About Tether a bit, the biggest asset on the Omni Layer platform. And yeah, it's I would say it's slowly getting into its demise. Back in like 6 months ago, it was still operating on Bitcoin Core version 0.13. With the new version of Omnicore 0.7, I guess, they basically updated to the Bitcoin Core version 0.18.1, which was a very good step forward. But they had bugs, like some transactions were showing like 2 times. Yeah, weird. And yeah, they are updating it slowly, but Tether is slowly moving to other protocols. As I said, Liquid, Ethereum. It's trying with Tron, with EOS, with different this kind of super cool hot blockchains. Damn, I should call my I should have called my channel Explore Bitcoin, not Explore Crypto, because I'm not speaking about crypto too much. So yeah, basically it's slowly being outdated. Nobody wants to create the new assets on the Omni layer anymore, and yeah, it's probably it will be a good piece of history, but still I wanted to make this video because there is a lot of misunderstanding about how it works, how it operates, what is it. People just don't know. So yeah, if you like this video, obviously follow me on Twitter. So here is my Twitter handle, follow me there, because yeah, if you really like it, please subscribe and give me the hands up, because like I'm doing these videos in my free time for free, so if you like it, just show me some love. If not, give me the thumbs down and tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I want to learn on my mistakes. Maybe not everyone is keen to see my type of video, like I've got weird type of humor, so yeah, give me the thumbs down and tell me what I'm doing wrong. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, just subscribe, look at my other videos. I think I'm doing a lot of videos in the similar tone, so yeah, go ahead. And I hope you guys will have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye.